And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Sam's Wedgin here in Austintown, and I'm here with the head ball coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons, one of my favorite human beings, not just coaches, TJ Parker. Coach, been a couple weeks. You look kind of refreshed and relaxed.
Look like a grizzly man.
You look. What's the old Trapper commercials? You're starting to get that beard. We can put you in those commercials. Get you some NIL for yourself. Tough loss to Urson, tough week coming off of it, and you look at the schedule. There's not much breathing room, but you guys get 2 weeks to plan for a very good Massillon team. Do you look at that as opportunity? Do you look at that as a time to heal, or is it all of the above?
The simple answer is all of the above. The bye week, I don't think when you have a bye week, I don't think you necessarily look maybe at the beginning of the season or when you're planning the season out, like who are the teams in between the bye week.
Yeah.
One you would be looking forward to, one you'd be coming off of. I think that there's some strategy there. However, the bye week, in theory, the positives of it that I see is, okay, you get to get healthy. Yeah. I wish I could say we're fully healthy and back. Not. We need some more time for that, but every team's going through that. For me, you got to get back to the basics. You know what I mean? Things that you wouldn't have time to do during the season that you can go back to, like your camp days.
Yeah.
We were hitting tackling circuits like nonstop on a Monday through Wednesday. We're doing good versus good situational football, that live, that, you kind of got to rest up the kids so they're 100% on Friday nights.
Yep.
We weren't necessarily worried about that week. So we got back to a heavy physical grind in terms of balancing, hey, some of these guys are banged up, go lighter this day. But overall, we're going to hit the fundamentals. We're going to get back to the basics, not having to worry about game planning for a team that week and going all over their sets, their formations, their plays, and tons of film.
Yeah.
Was that sprinkled in there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Massillon's one heck of a team. I don't think 2 weeks is enough. So, positives of that, and then going back to what seemed to be a stress-free weekend for the kids. Not stress-free, distraction-free is what I like to say, because we took the whole team down to the youth in full pads, and we practiced for some, and for our kids, for the youth kids, it was awesome. Then that Saturday, we ended up doing all of our senior players and all the cheerleaders do those blankets or the sheets that hang on our stadium. So as a thank you, we do something nice with them every year, and then this year we said we're going to do like a drive-in. So we watched Rudy on the Jumbotron at the stadium, got food catered, had candy there like it was the movies. They had their blankets and chairs, and it was kind of cool moment. They painted the rock at the school. So it was like during the week I'd be worried about hey, are we focused? We're doing this. These kids got homework. They got all this. Well, with the game off, it was like we can add some of these things in, and they still have time to worry about other things. And it was nice to get away from the every day, every week grind and the pressure of just the next game.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we are in that week, and that grind comes back. So is it an ease back into that, or is it like a punch in the skull of, hey, guess what? Sunday moving into Monday, it's business time, boys. We got to figure out how to beat this very good Massillon Tiger team.
Yeah, I do. I like the way you explained it. It was a slow build.
Okay.
It was our practice structure. When you look at it, I was telling you about all those good versus goods and situational, and then getting back to some techniques and things that we were doing. That was in there, but then we would have Massillon periods. As the week went on, it was like, okay, hey, we're going to get a look at a little bit of this. And we tried to, during the bye week, it was about 40 minutes of practice that we would spend on Massillon. And it wasn't, hey, here's what we're doing. It was, here's what they do. Let's line up, and we'll make our checks. And then after that Friday, we turned the page and had a lot of stuff front-loaded that we normally wouldn't. And then we got into it pretty good the following week with a couple extra days. So yeah, I mean, we're here now. We feel like we have a good beat on what they're going to do and what they're going to bring to the table. It's knowing what they're going to do and how we're going to attack it, but it's another thing to stop it because they are a very, very good outfit.
When you look at them on film, you were explaining to me, I mean, they've got guys everywhere, seemingly. The receivers, quarterback, one of the best you're going to see across the board in any division.
Yep.
What stands out to you, and what specifically do you need to key on in order to get that signature win that every coach wants? And this would be a biggie against this Massillon Tiger team. But also, I think, and I heard it today over the phone, they're looking at you as a threat because you've had 2 weeks off. I mean, what do you key on for them, and how do you keep your kids believing, right? And it sounds weird because you guys are still one of the elite teams on YSN. How do you keep them believing that they are the David versus the Goliath in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with the belief.
Yeah.
Like, we've talked about that for the past 2 weeks. I mean, I think we've went over every version of pride throughout the weeks that we could. We've talked about self-pride, team pride, family pride. Like, it's senior night. Every day it comes up in terms of taking pride in all you do.
Yeah.
Everything we do. I mean, we've addressed it in every aspect. So I think, you know, the story of the David versus the Goliath, it's all that. We've explained to them, like, the weather, the team, the refs, the other coaching staff, the plays we call. None of that really has anything to do with pride. Pride in yourself is doing your job to the best of your ability with maximum effort. And when we talked about it and had the kids explain it, and then we would say, okay, now what's team pride? And then it's, you know, the sacrifice and for your teammates and for the betterment of the team and taking pride in being part of a unit and everybody from the guys on the sideline to the guys who are in the game to the guys who just play special teams to the guys who are playing both ways. Yeah. And I think that is what really shored up our mental going into the game. The other half of your question is, you know, when you're looking at a team, you know, what do we see? I think the first and foremost are keys. Like, no one has been able to run the ball on these guys. Their front seven on defense is the best I've seen from a high school team on tape to this point. They have very fast, very physical defense, and they're playing well. They're all playing on a string together. They get to the ball. The box is very complimentary of the secondary. So in general, we got to find ways to get first downs and put drives together and have those lead into points. On the flip side, offensively, they got a track team on the outside, and their staff does a really, really good job of understanding. They have one of the best players in the state at quarterback, and they have a big physical O-line. So they just put the speedsters out there. They like an empty formation, and they let him create and let him run around. And then they design runs for him, so it makes you decide, are we going to put the extra guy in the back end to help out and cover? Then that leaves no one for the quarterback. Or are we going to bring him in the box to deal with the quarterback, and then that leaves all their guys one-on-one on the outside, and he's a very, very capable thrower.
Yeah, there's people. I mean, we've talked about it. This is a team that's no joke. This could be one of the best teams in the state, bar none. So,
yep.
But we're bleeding red, white, and blue, baby. I'm ready for the Falcon upset, if that's what you want to call it.
Yes, sir.
Y'all can call it the upset. I'm saying Falcons by 90. So when you look at this, and this is in general, this isn't Austintown Fitch, this isn't even high school football. One of the hot topics right now is coordinators on both sides of the ball, head coaches, and just play calls. There's so many outsiders, and I talked to Coach Pavliansky earlier this week about this as well. So many outsiders think, hey, you guys just, if you're a heavy run team and you're a stack eye team, spread it out. Like, and you know, you're losing. They're stopping the run. Spread it out. And if you're a spread team, vice versa. They think that it can be done overnight, mid-game, at halftime. You're just drawing things on the chalkboard. in reality, the challenges of multiple formations, right, and making your team multifaceted in that to give multiple looks, the time that it takes to do that, you've been doing this for a long time at many different levels. To do that, how many weeks would it take? Not only in the off season, but in the midst of the regular season. Let's say it's week 8, and all of a sudden they want you to start running something absolutely different. It's successful. Feasible? Yes? No?
I mean, there's a balance there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to sit here and rake on your Monday morning quarterbacks that are in the stands who are saying, I see this. If you guys just did this.
Right.
I think what gets lost in a lot of this is from that perspective, you don't see the picture that we see every single day. There's so many components to a play. There's so many components to the structure of your team and the makeup of your team. It's so easy to say, stop them from running the ball.
Yeah.
Well, okay. They're just running right. Or, you know, stop. Okay, we're trying to do that. But in order to do that soundly and teach good football, we can't send everybody to the right side of the line. We can't just blitz everybody.
You mean they're not going to go left?
And then that's what blows my mind. And the same thing on the other side, it's, well, okay, you want us to do this or you want us to do that. In general, you know, you got to block all those people out. But it's the O-line works with the running backs, who works with the quarterback,
it's a unit.
who works with the receivers. It's, hey, just throw it to this guy or just do this or you can just run the ball. How aren't we doing this? I would love. It's easy to see the schematics from the stands, but do you really know what our O-line and D-line makeup is? Do you really know their strengths and weaknesses?
Gaps.
Compared to what we know versus the other team?
Yep.
And where we feel like we have to help?
Oh, I agree.
You know, it's you just think, okay, this guy could cover this guy and this guy could beat this guy. It's not, because the other team knows that too, and they're playing to their strengths and where they can win one-on-one matchups. And I think that's kind of the challenge and the ability of coaches is to get guys or teams in positions where they're out of sync, out of whack, that you can take advantage of.
Yep.
And you know, I think if you're the better team, the game comes easier for you.
Yep.
You keep it simple, and you can win mano-a-mano. If you're the team that's behind, you have to create those situations and create those matchups with whether it be tempo or motions or formations or exotic blitzes or taking your chances in certain spots on defense or special teams, all of that. So it's real easy to say in this situation do this, but when you're not taking everything that comes into a game into account, that's where you lose.
There's layers.
Oh, so many.
There's layers.
It's an unbelievable game.
All right. Needed that one just from a standpoint of this is like Steelers, this is Ohio State, this is all on down to Pee Wee. So this isn't specific to.
We want Ryan Day fired, right? I mean,
I do.
No, don't be that guy.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Oh,
as a professional, right? As a guy who does this a lot, right? Comes
Not
here
a professional,
every Thursday. You come and you speak, and there's coach speak. Everybody talks about it. For him to call out Lou Holtz, I'm sure it got his guys fired up. But what does it do to the guys, right, that are looking at him as a leader to do that? And I get what Lou Holtz said wasn't exactly shiny and perfect. Would you ever do what he did? And I know that's a tricky question.
It's a very tricky question. I'll say this.
Okay.
I don't think he called out only Lou Holtz.
Right.
I think Lou Holtz is the straw that broke the camel's back.
Okay.
I think for a long time, all Ryan Day has done is win, and win at a very, very high rate. And the comment that stuck the most to me is, we played one bad half of football in all my time here, and that was at Michigan last year. And his comment was, basically, you guys want success for us, our own fans, but every week it's met with negativity against Ohio State over and over and over. And he's just trying to move a bunch of kids, like anybody else, 18 to 23-year-olds, to win a game. And it's constantly met by his own people inside and by other people with attacking the kids. They're soft under Ryan Day. They don't do this. They don't do that. And it reaches a point where it's like, now we beat Notre Dame. And everyone has something to say. Why don't you just enjoy what we're doing and help us move forward instead of consistently meeting us with hate nonstop? And
so you saw that from a different lens.
Oh, I feel like I felt exactly what he was thinking at that time. Going into that game and to show up and say, hey, the stress from both teams, from both sides of it's going to be a top 10 matchup in enemy territory. Like, here we go. And then on a college game day show, he's just trying to free his mind, and he's literally his entire team where he knows it. His kids are hearing it too. And I don't care. You hear something enough, it gets in your head. And he heard it the first time they lost to Michigan, the second time they lost to Michigan. And then, that performance versus Georgia, I think, saved him from so much scrutiny. Then he opens the year, and it's about the quarterback, and they're not beating teams by enough. Like, it's not already hard to beat teams. And listen, that comes with the job. He's getting paid millions to be the Ohio State head coach. And you have to act a different way. But I think everybody has a point where it's enough's enough.
He had his breaking point.
And he had his breaking point. And I'm sure if you ask him, he'll probably say, I take it back. It probably shouldn't have been so directed at Lou Holtz, but it was, in general, we're okay. We've played one bad half of football, and, you want to tear the program down, tear myself down, and tear these kids down. We're going to be all right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, the last thing I have for you, because kind of the same era, right, from age-wise, grew up with Toy Story. Okay. Did you happen to see the Toy Story game on Sunday?
I didn't watch that at all.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
Can you tell me about it?
Okay, so it was, I don't know how they did it. I would love to have the technology that they did, because making all of our games, Toy Story games, would be awesome. But they basically had like the Madden cam kind of deal, right? Okay. Slinky Dog was the first down markers. He was the chains. So you had like football players, just cartoon football players with like Woody and Buzz in the background, and really trying to get kids and the younger audience engaged. Long way to get to the question, but growing up, what was your go-to movie of your childhood that even if it came on today, you'd stop your remote and say, I need to watch that, just for a little bit of, oh man, those were the days.
Now you're talking like a Disney movie.
I don't
like
care.
that.
Whatever movie from your childhood that brings back those memories of, man, those were the days. Those were the good old days.
When you say that, like, my childhood was filled, and I'm sure when you say the same era, like, I think of original movies like Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, like Bloodsport, Kickboxer, that is my childhood.
Yep.
Those
Steven
hard to
Seagal.
kill, like, so I think those kind of remind me of my childhood the most. But there was a post, I've been telling everyone about this weekly, where this dad, and you'll like this guy's a coach, and I think he stopped coaching, and he said, I'm done with coaching, and every week I want to watch a sports movie with my son. And he said, here's the list of 5 I have. My son's this age, and I kind of want to slow build to, when we get older, we'll make sure we do this. And I'm watching it, and it was one of the movies I recommended to the kids to watch on the Jumbotron. We ended up watching Rudy, but The Mighty Ducks was a pretty good movie.
Yes.
Back then.
Emilio Estevez.
Yes. Big Mighty Ducks fan. I'd say like childhood Spaceballs was huge in my
Spaceballs
house.
was awesome. The Schwartz.
Yeah, may
Who
the
was
Schwartz
your-
be with you.
Who's your favorite Mighty Duck? Everybody had one.
Oh, man.
I was a Conway guy.
Of course you were, Conway, the captain. I don't.
You strike me as an Adam Banks type.
No, I don't.
You
Not the
strike
bad.
me-
You want to pay me as a bad guy.
You're not bad.
I would say. You know what? When I answer that, I'm going to answer that now. My favorite guy every time I think of Mighty Ducks was always the guy. You remember? I don't know his name, but he was the guy who always skated so fast that he ran into. This was
Luis
like
Gonzalez.
Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I thought it was Gonzalez. Luis Gonzalez. Now, I mean, all-time favorite movie though, probably Sandlot.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was just
going
gonna ask you about that. All right,
Huge.
my son is gonna be a Ninja Turtle for Halloween. My daughter's gonna be a Ninja Turtle
Did
for
you see
Halloween.
the new one?
We're gonna see it this weekend.
Very disappointing.
Really?
Yeah, graphics are great.
I heard.
Graphics are great, but Bebop and Rocksteady are good guys. Like,
One of them's like John Cena, I think.
I'm saying they're
Their character. They're good guys now.
they're with the Turtles.
Oh, all right.
I don't want to spoil that for you, but it was just like
Spoiler
it wasn't
alert,
the
Teej.
Turtle.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it wasn't the Turtles versus Shredder or like.
It's not. I'm not watching it. I'm not kidding.
No, it
I
was-
taped so they ran like a marathon of Turtles on Nickelodeon,
Yeah.
and we recorded every episode for Z.
Okay.
So now he's watching every morning. As long as he's good, he gets to watch the Ninja Turtles. So he's loving it. We got him. He was good this week. We got him all four Ninja Turtles action figures today.
There you go.
He's
Good
ready to
week.
go.
Good week, Z.
So, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
That's easy. That's Michelangelo.
Okay. Okay.
I'm a party dude. But it'll be the best movie soundtrack in a long time.
I've already it was on Spotify, and I was like,
was it?
"Oh yeah, it's a
Okay.
whole thing. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous
it's a good one.
and not appropriate for my kid at all." But
I'll
I was
tell
like,
you what,
"Whoa!"
it keeps the kids and
It's
the
one of
parents
those.
who are
It's kind of like
bringing
the
kids.
Toy Story of its generation.
Yes, it
Got
is.
it. Teach, thank you so much. Appreciate you
Always
as
a
always,
pleasure,
man. This
man.
was fun.
Yep.
We'll be back next week right here after the Falcon win on this Friday, live from Sam's Wedge Inn. We'll see you later.